Unmuted.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting, the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission is set to begin. First and foremost, the City of Socorro would like to thank everyone and ask for your patience during this difficult time we have been presented with. Everyone, please remember to silence any electronics to avoid sound interruption. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. In accordance with Section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code, and by order of the Office of the Governor issued March 16, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro will broadcast the meeting scheduled today, Tuesday, July 7th, 2020 at 5:30 from City Hall chambers located at 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, via telephone conference and live stream in order to advance the public health goal and practice social distancing to slow the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19. The public that signed up and any presenters will be called upon by the presiding officer during the meeting to speak during the public comment or their agenda item during the meeting following Government Code 551.042. La reunión de la Comisión de Planificación y Zonificación de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Primeramente queremos darles las gracias y pedimos su paciencia durante estos momentos críticos que enfrentamos. Favor de poner en silencio todo equipo electrónico para evitar interrupción de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. A quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada será desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. De acuerdo con sección 418.016 del Código del Gobierno de Texas y por orden de la Oficina del Gobernador, anunciada el 16 de marzo de 2020, la Comisión de Planificación y Zonificación de la Ciudad de Socorro transmitirá su reunión hoy, 7 de julio de 2020 a las 6:30 p.m. desde la Sala del Concilio localizada en 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, por medio del teléfono y será transmitida en vivo para tomar medidas preventivas para prevenir la propagación de la enfermedad del virus corona COVID-19 a los demás y por la seguridad del público. El público y los presentadores serán anunciados por el oficial conduciendo la reunión para poder hablar durante la sección del comentario público después de la discusión del artículo de la agenda por cual se apuntaron siguiendo las reglas del gobierno 551.042.
Mr. Lafuente, if you want to call the meeting to order.
Okay. Okay, today, July 7 of 2020 at 5:33, we call to the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro, Texas meeting.
Thank you, sir. Item number 2 is establishment of quorum. Mr. Arturo Lafuente,
Here,
Mr. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have quorum with 3 commissioners present. Item number 3, we will be having the election of officers. If you guys would like to vote amongst yourselves to see who would be appointed head chair, who would be appointed first vice chair, and who would be second vice chair.
So how does that work? Do we get to do we if we would like to throw our head in, I mean our name in the hat, can we vote for ourselves or do we have to vote for somebody else? Or?
Job, could they vote for themselves or?
I would like to get more commissioners, members and present to get this decision.
Job, how do we proceed on this one? Because we only have 3 commissioners present at the moment.
So I think that's a question for Marwan. I'm not sure if somebody can appoint themselves as a chair or etc. Or do we need to have all the commissioners present to be able to appoint officers? I believe we can appoint, even if they're not present, if they like to appoint someone who is not present. I don't know if that's something we can do tonight.
Yeah, so
it's a good idea. It's probably a good idea if everybody's present. It's not required. We had a quorum to start the meeting, so if you guys wanted to, you can nominate other people. You can nominate yourself if you want to throw your own hat in the ring. You can vote for yourself. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you want to make sure that everybody's here, you can pass this item until the next time and just keep the officers the way they are. Although I think Mr. Daniel Lopez, who resigned, was he the chair?
Yes,
or
sir.
the first?
He was the head
Yeah.
chair. Mr. Arturo Lafuente is the first vice chair.
So if we don't change it, then Mr. LaFuente will still be the first vice chair, probably acting chair for right now. But yeah, it's really up to you guys. So if you want to have a vote today, you can do it. If you want to wait till everybody is here next time, you can do it. Probably just need to make sure then when Sergio sets up the meeting that everybody will be present. So it's kind of up to you guys. I think it's pretty flexible. There's no hard rules on it.
Oh.
In my point, I would like to all members be present.
What was that, Mr. Lafuente?
To me, I would like to all members be present.
Okay. If you want to just make a motion to go ahead and I guess put this for the next meeting.
Yes, but let's make sure that all will be present, sending a letter or phone call or email or whatever like that, and they should confirm.
Okay.
So, like Sergio said, then Mr. LaFuente, you want to make that a formal motion then to postpone this item until all the members are present, and then we can vote on that motion if that's what you want.
Well, in my case, I make a motion to postpone to the next meeting.
You want me to word it to postpone the item until all members are present?
Until members are present.
Okay. So I have a motion made by Mr. Arturo Lafuente to postpone the item until all members are present. Do I have a second? No second. Okay, then I guess the motion dies.
Hello?
Yes.
I got cut off.
Oh,
Hello?
go ahead, Mr. Arroyos.
Okay, I missed that last with Mr. Lafuente with what he said.
Yeah, basically he made a motion to postpone this item until all the members are present. Uh, would you like to second that?
Okay. So in 2 weeks, if what? So I make a motion to approve that if um, most of the commission is there, because if next week we come in and they're not all present, then we're gonna have to postpone it again.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Unless at that time you guys would like to vote, like Mr. Batty just said, if you would like to postpone it till next time, if no, if like you say, if only 3 or 4 of you show up, obviously that's not everybody. You can at that moment decide to vote on it instead of postponing it again. It's up to you.
Okay, I make a motion. I
You would second?
second the motion. Yes.
Okay, so I have a motion made by Mr. Arturo Lafuente to postpone the item until all members are present, seconded by Mr. Andrew Arroyos. Mr. Arturo Lafuente,
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros. Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion carried. Everybody present in favor. We shall move on to item number 4. This is notice to the public. This is open forum. This time is reserved for members of the public who would like to address the commission on any items that are not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the city of Socorro. No action shall be taken. It's just for public comment. No? Well, I don't have anybody that signed up. So moving on to item number 5. This is consent agenda. A is consider and take action on the approval of meeting minutes for June 16, 2020, Planning and Zoning Commission. And B is for the consider and take action on the public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of tracks 2, 3, 4, 7, 7A, 8, 8A, 9, 10, 11, 12A, 13, 13A, 13A2, 14, and 14A Block 5 Socorro Grant from C2 and A1 to IC-MUD for a new development. And this is just the consent agenda.
Can we just make a motion to, do we make a motion to this or do we wait for head chair to
No,
make that motion?
no, either one of you can make a motion to either approve or deny. It's up to you.
Excuse me, we are talking about the considering take action on this public hearing.
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
like, remember, it's just consent agenda. This is where, if you guys want to approve or deny it, remember the second one will be set up for a public hearing if you do approve it on the 21st.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Arroyos to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Mr. Cisneros?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Andrew Arroyos to approve, seconded by Mr. Enrique Cisneros. Mr. Arturo Lafuente?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Andrew Arroyos?
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion carried with all commissioners in favor. Item number 6, this is the regular agenda, discussion and action. This is a final plat approval. Consider and take action on the final plat approval for Baba Section 1 subdivision, being a portion of the O.A. Danielson Survey number 316 in El Paso County, Texas.
Good afternoon, commissioners. This application is it's for the approval of the final plat of a subdivision. I'm trying to share the screen, but for some reason I'm not allowed. This plat was presented to you a couple months ago. It's called Baba Section 1 subdivision. It's located in the city of Socorro's EJ.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember that.
If you remember, this property is located right off of Nuevo Hueco Tanks Road and the intersection of I-10. The final plat is to create 4 lots. I'm gonna put it on the screen here real quick. This is the final plat. The only thing that I do need to mention is that the engineers are still reviewing this final plat. We still haven't received the comments from it. Only other thing that we noticed, there was a discrepancy between the preliminary plat and the final plat. On the roadway that you see here in the middle,
Mhm.
on the improvement plans, they were showing this was gonna be a private road. After we spoke to the engineer, they said this road is gonna be dedicated to the county, gonna be a public road. So that's the only thing that was changed from the preliminary to the final plat. The other thing is, because of the fact that we thought it was gonna be a private road, we recommended the approval of a 54-foot right-of-way.
Mhm.
And it's, as you can remember from the subdivision requirements, for a local road, the minimum required width is 60 feet of right-of-way, 40 feet paved. This subdivision was designed according to the city of El Paso standards. In the city of El Paso, they allow a 52-foot right-of-way. This one is 54. And they also require 32 feet of pavement. I guess comparing both provisions, I mean, neither one of them are wrong. However, we do need to check with the county, see if they're gonna accept the city of El Paso standards, or they wanna make them comply with the city of Socorro's requirements. That is the only thing that we noticed. Another question that was left from the preliminary plat is, there's a small area here. Let me see if I can show you here on the aerial map instead. There's a little, oh, I guess not.
Mm.
There's
So-
this little portion of land here that was questionable. Let me go back to the final plat, where they're showing this line. This is where the original track 1B used to end, or it ends right here. This little area on the side is an area that used to belong to TxDOT. So the Planning and Zoning Commission requested that staff investigate if this property belonged to this developer. We did find evidence that it was transferred to them. So it does belong to this developer. That's why it's included in this plat. So that was a question that was left from the preliminary plat. I don't know if you have any other questions regarding this.
So is that was included on the property deeds from the owner?
Yes. Yes, sir. It was recorded on a separate instrument.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm gonna just show it on the screen because he didn't scan it. So this deed that I'm holding right here,
Mhm.
this is the deed where it's showing that the property was transferred to the developer in question. The area that you see here used to belong to TxDOT before. And now it belongs to this developer. That's why it was included on this plat.
So actually, right now, that property is included on the new property deeds from the owner, right?
Yes, correct. So once they record, as
What's
soon as you
gonna-
approve, and the final plat is approved and recorded, this is gonna become one subdivision, one small subdivision, it's minor plat.
What's gonna happen with the stream, with the swallow that is coming from the freeway?
So they have this easement recorded here in the middle. This is where they're gonna put some culverts so that the water can flow in a controlled manner.
It's not
At
gonna
the
affect-
end, so they're not gonna impede the arroyo. As you can see, there's another arroyo
Mhm.
on the northern part. They're not gonna impede the flow of the water, neither from the small arroyo that you see in the bottom. The culverts have been designed to accommodate the amount of water that flows from these culverts under I-10. It's gonna flow in a controlled manner to the original location where water is already flowing to.
So are they gonna keep it exposed or it's gonna be underground?
It's gonna be inside the development, it's gonna be underground. And then over here, it's just gonna remain in the original, the way it is right now, in the current condition. What they are gonna put is, they're gonna put some devices at the end to slow down the flow of the water. Just enough so that it doesn't cause additional erosion and it doesn't cause any backflow on the culverts.
Joe, this is Berwan, and also just, there's a ponding area, right, in lot 4?
Yes, correct. So lot 4 will be a pond. However, this pond is not designed to collect water from the arroyo. It's only designed to collect water from the subdivision, from this area here. So because everything's gonna be paved and improved, all this water will flow into lot 4. This is gonna be the pond, but the arroyos will be unobstructed. Do you have any other questions about this plat?
I don't have any questions.
Do we have any research before in the past with the flooding times?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question, Mr. Lafuente. Can you say
Do we
that
have
again?
any research in the past to the flooding area affecting the land? Like researching years before how many inches come down from that soil?
Yeah, so all that was done by the engineers, and that's the data that they use to design their culverts.
Okay.
Mr. Terrazas, a quick question.
Yes.
I know that there's a difference between what the county requires and what the city required. I know that there's not an official staff recommendation on the documentation that we're looking at. What would you suggest that we add that at this point, or I mean, is that something that we can look at again at the final plat once the county makes a decision?
Oh, this is the final plat. One of the recommendations that I put here is that the planning and zoning department is recommending approval. However, after analyzing the other, we were trying to find an answer to the question that was left behind from last meeting. We do recommend that you approve it with the condition that we check with the county, make sure that they're gonna agree with the right-of-way that is proposed. Like I said, they're proposing a 54-foot right-of-way. City of Socorro requires 60 feet. The city of El Paso requires 52. So, I mean, the county has the option either to accept one or the other. Like I said, none of them are wrong. It's just, it depends on what the county is gonna want ultimately.
And the county will be paying for the maintenance after everything's
Correct.
kind of
Yes. Yes, sir.
you know, I see that it was submitted on the 2nd. We have till August the 2nd. Would you prefer that we vote with that caveat, or would it probably be better if we postponed it and get an official answer for the next meeting? What do you think would be best?
I think we can go with the approval for now, because it's still gonna go to council. By the time we go to council, we should be able to meet with the county. It only takes a phone call to speak with the county and explain the situation. So by the time it goes to council, we should have an official answer from the county. So you can go ahead and approve it today, or recommend to approve it. And we'll follow up because we don't wanna, I mean, I don't think it's necessary to postpone it another month.
Joe, what you're saying is if they make a motion to approve, it would be to approve with staff recommendations?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
You can make a motion to approve with a condition that we check with the county on the right-of-way width.
I make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Okay, I have a motion made by Mr. Andrew Arroyos to approve with staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
Mr. Terrazas, in my understanding, the county of Paso ordinances supersede City of Socorro. In this case, because it's beside the freeway, we would like to have a decision first from the city, from the county. In my understanding. So, motion says no.
As a point of, I guess my question is, when we're talking about staff recommendations, that includes checking in with the county for the
Yes,
right
sir.
of way. Right?
Yes, sir.
By the way, and the ordinances.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
This was Mr. Cisneros.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have a motion made by Mr. Andrew Arroyos to approve with staff recommendations, seconded by Mr. Enrique Cisneros. Mr. Arturo Lafuente,
No.
Mr. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros.
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion carried with two commissioners yes, one no. Item number 7, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report. Nothing to report at this time.
Nothing, sir.
Okay,
Yes. Hello.
go ahead.
Yes, I'm still concerned of the exit of the new development by Norloop and I don't know what the street over there. I've been seeing a lot of crowded area times in the Norloop, and my concern is, can we start working on the lights from any of the street crossing before and after this development? Oh,
So
okay.
that, to answer your question, Mr. Lafuente, that will be up to TxDOT. Um, Several things need to happen before they can consider a street light on or close to the development. I guess the numbers need to add up. Ultimately, it's going to be up to TxDOT whether they determine if it's necessary to have a stoplight. At the moment, we don't have an answer whether they already started the study or if they have any plans on doing that anytime soon.
Can this light be suggested by the city of Socorro, or we have to make sign people that they are concerned on that?
I guess we can contact TxDOT, reach out and see where they're standing. Tonight, we don't have an answer. We could probably have an answer by the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, then item number 8, Planning and Zoning Department Report.
Well, I guess I was looking for, I just wanted to report that in the last council meeting, a new ordinance was approved. This new ordinance is for a new zoning classification that's going to be available in the city of Socorro. This new ordinance will allow a mixture of industrial and commercial use for certain properties. This new ordinance is it's a restructure of the M1s and M2s that were eradicated some time ago. One of the things that changed is that junkyards, mechanic shops, all those type of businesses are not going to be allowed under an industrial zone. However, we're trying to prepare for any future project that might come in. For example, warehousing or large businesses that require a special zone to accommodate. It's going to be very restrictive on what's going to be allowed. It's going to permit a mixture of residential, commercial, and industrial to a certain point. And I just don't have the ordinance. I wanted to show it to you, but I don't have it here handy. That was the only thing that was added to our zoning code. And you're probably gonna see applications come in with that new classification very soon. This new zoning code is going to apply to properties that are larger than 10 acres. So I know that the presentation that we gave to council was not very detailed, but that's pretty much what it is. It's just a new classification that is going to be incorporated in our zoning code. Do you have any questions?
Are we gonna have that information in the next meeting?
Yes, actually, I'm going to email it to you tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'll send it to your email so you can read it. It's not a very long ordinance. That way you can see what's going to be permitted and what is it for. And that way you can go ahead and read it. So when we get an application for that type of the new use, land use, you're gonna be familiar with what's allowed and what's not allowed. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, item number 9, excuse absent commission members.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion made by Mr. Andrew Arroyos to approve. Do I have a second? Does anybody second it? Nope. Then I guess the motion dies.
Yeah,
What-
yeah. In last meeting, we asked to give us an excuse for the absence. And do we have any excuse from the other one?
Today, when I called Mr. Gomez, he was leaving to Odessa, and Mr. Estrada had prior engagements. So that was the excuse they gave me for not being able to come in.
I made a second motion.
Okay, have a seconded by Mr. Arturo Lafuente. Mr. Arturo Lafuente,
Yes.
Mr. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros.
No, sir.
Okay, motion carried with 2 commissioners yes, 1 no. Item number 10, consider and take action on adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Who made it, Mr. Cisneros?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I second.
seconded. Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Enrique Cisneros to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Andrew Arroyos. Mr. Arturo Lafuente?
Yeah.
Mr. Andrew Arroyos?
Yes.
Mr. Enrique Cisneros?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion carried. Meeting adjourns at 6:02 p.m. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.